the railways, just once.
Then he describes the emotion of being liberated from the concentration camp at Buchenwald, and the reaction of the soldiers who liberated him. Though we did not understand their language, their eyes told us what we needed to know, that they too would remember and bear witness. Next, Professor Wiesel appeals to our sense of logic when he discusses how it is easy to fall into the trap of indifference.
Of course, indifference can be tempting. More than that, seductive. It is so much easier to look away from victims. It is so much easier to avoid such rude interruptions to our work, our dreams, our hopes.
It is easy to go about our daily lives and ignore the suffering of those around us. This is itself indifference. This is where Professor Wiesel makes his main point.
In a way, to be indifferent to that suffering is what makes the human being inhuman. Indifference, after all, is more dangerous than anger and hatred. Anger can, at times, be creative. One writes a great poem, a great symphony, or does something special for the sake of humanity because one is angry at the injustice that one witnesses. But indifference is never creative. Even hatred at times may elicit a response. You fight it. You denounce it. You disarm it. Indifference elicits no response. Indifference is not a response.
Finally, he describes how the lessons of the past should be used to direct our ethical compass in the future.
It's not only a sin, it is a punishment. And this is one of the most important lessons of this outgoing century's wide-ranging experiments in good and evil.
Using these lessons, we should go forward with a sense of compassion for our fellow man and a desire to stop the indifference wherever we see it. Now Candace will discuss Professor Wiesel's speaking ability to inspire us.
Professor Wiesel is an amazing speaker. To be able to educate others on his personal experience, as well as others, in the Holocaust, the tragic event, as we saw from the images, left the world speechless in a feat of willpower and determination. Not only was Professor Wiesel able to write many, many books, as we saw the list earlier, he wrote those on his time in Auschwitz and Buchenwald. He was able to speak in front of a great many people, and it was in the East Room of the White House in front of many dignitaries, including President Bill Clinton and his First Lady, Hillary Clinton. It takes a certain amount of courage from anyone, especially after experiencing it, not just seeing it, but experiencing it. Also to take into account for his inspiring ability to speak was that English was obviously not his first language. Anyone here who's bilingual knows how hard English is to learn to speak. So he spoke German, French, and English, and the fact that he was able to explain all these horrible things done to him in English is a feat into itself. Finally, to move into our conclusion, today we first discussed our decision to choose Elie Wiesel as a speaker. Secondly, we spoke about the significance of his speech, the perils of indifference. Next, we spoke about the communication concepts used. And lastly, we spoke about why his speaking ability is such an inspiration. Elie Wiesel is a great speaker and inspires many to speak out. As he once stated, I decided to devote my life to telling the story because I felt that having survived, I owed something to the dead. And anyone who does not remember betrays them again.